Welcome to the Dowden Podcast. I'm your host, the official CRG, and today I want to talk about how I changed my life from being a failing student and to always getting in trouble to the growing entrepreneur I am today, and how even though it does feel impossible, you can still make it happen right now. But before we get started, make sure to leave a like and subscribe down below. That way you don't miss any weekly episodes and posts. You can find video of this episode strictly on YouTube, but the audio everywhere else. Now, the reason I want to talk about this is because I went down a really bad path throughout my teenage years, and I know there's a bunch of other people in the same situation right now. And to them, I just want to tell you that it isn't over. Now, trust me, I get it. It sounds cliche, but in all seriousness, it really isn't over. And without getting into too much detail, the reason I'm telling you this is because when I was in high school, I did a whole lot of shit. I'm going to be straight up with you. I was in and out of trouble. I was skipping classes. I was out smoking. I was hanging out in bandos. And I was being in places that I definitely shouldn't have been in. I was just doing things that you should not be doing. But the problem is that I just didn't care. I was basically going numb to these things. And when I went numb, that basically meant consequences didn't exist. And then I just went AWOL and I just got even tighter with the group of friends I was with, making me go down a whole bunch of other loopholes. But so on and so forth, things started happening, and I was just really getting into a lot of deep stuff. I mean, way deeper than I should have ever been. But to me, it honestly just felt normal because I was doing this stuff for so long. I wasn't even thinking twice of what I was doing until I got hit with a wake up call. You see, I ended up getting in trouble with the law and facing potential jail time for reasons that I obviously won't talk about here. But through that, it ended up just being a whole lot of time that I was way too scared to do anything else because it literally could have changed my life. And I don't know if you've ever been in a courtroom, but when that judge comes out and they start telling you what you've done and how much time it is for each one, your life literally flashes before your eyes. And then you are given a chance, either like God's literally giving you a chance. You can either make the change or you can stay the exact same. And there I made the change. And I'm going to be completely honest. Did I meet some longtime friends and make memories that I'll never forget? Of course I did. But at the end of the day, doing that street shit was not worth it because it wasn't worth having to leave the house with something every single time. It wasn't worth having to look over your shoulder or always being on point. And if you think that is worth it, you need to reevaluate because it is not the way you want to live. There are so many other ways to make money. Trust me, I get it. I understand why people do it. But at the end of the day, is it really worth jail or your life? And I mean that seriously, because if you're really in the streets, then you understand the streets have no sympathy. They don't care about you, and it gets crazy on a daily basis. So you really need to make a decision if that is for you and if it's not. Because if it's not, then you need to go ahead and make that change for a better life. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the streets aren't going to get you anywhere. I have lost way too many friends. I have way too many friends in jail right now because of the streets that aren't getting out anytime soon. If you want to be successful, you want to be financially free, the streets are not the way to do it. So, if you want to make that change, go ahead and start by removing those friends. Start by getting yourself out of those situations or do whatever you can to remove those old habits in order to replace new ones. Because when you replace new habits, you're not going to get up to go out and do stupid shit anymore. You're going to get up and go out and find a way to make it happen. Because, like I said, if you want real financial freedom, that street shit will not last. No matter what, Doesn't matter when it happens, where it happens, it will come to an end at some point. But at the end of the day, I'm not telling you this to show off or trying to gain any attention from it. I'm just telling you this because I understand what it's like to feel like, you don't have an option left. I understand what it feels like to mess up. And I'm here to tell you that you will be able to make the change. Do not give up. If you have a dream, go out and chase it. Because even though you did things in your past, even though you've been through things, that doesn't mean it defines you as a person. But with that said, today's quote is by John Ron. He once said, "Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change." I appreciate you tuning in. You can follow us on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And this is the Dialed In Podcasts.